Hey, this is Coach Kinsey Shae with Bobby Merlin.
Hello.
We're going to talk about...
Look, I'm here this time.
I know. We're going to talk about the Gen X man view on the tough it out mindset, because last week I just recorded and I went more from the feminine coach.
However you want to say it, Kinsey.
I know. I was just
I'm
telling
on your side.
I wasn't feeling good today, so whatever comes out.
It's the NyQuil. However you want to coach is how you're going to coach, okay?
So last week I talked about this acronym AGE, and it really, I think if we embrace that, we can really kind of navigate through traumas, because quite often we have traumas from our past. And
so
especially,
what is the acronym AGE? Tell them what the
okay,
acronym
so A is accept, acknowledge, and I added on ask at the end of it.
So it's edgy.
Yes. And then G is gratitude, just living in the state of being grateful for what you do have. And then evolving to mindset, meaning not everybody always talks about meditate. And quite often when I coach people, even today, they're just like, I can't do it. I can't sit in it. And a lot of people, they're not keeping their brain active while they're doing it. And they think it's a misnomer. The meaning sitting and having the awareness of your situation by grounding down, really feeling your feet, and bring in all of your five senses can really help you have awareness in this time and space to be present. And then just labeling your, whatever comes into your mind, just acknowledging it and let it float by, whether it is a judgment, because quite often our thoughts are judgments. Is it simply just a thought? Okay, we can deal with that later. I'm meditating right now, or is an emotion, especially in this season where there's a lot of emotionally charged arguments. You can tell that their emotional system is very dysregulated, and they're projecting their biases, their beliefs onto other people, which never works out. And I don't use that word very often because
you said never. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
She's on medication, everybody. Yeah. It's okay. She'll be back next time. All right.
I've used that word to prove a point of, if you come from a state of emotion where it's not where you're focusing on growth, like you can talk to somebody in an emotional state and say, just let me through my ugly. What I'm saying is not going to come across. I just need to vent it out. That kind of gives the other person not to react to it, or if you're talking to somebody, a lot of people, when they get angry, they're like, you, and they're talking about an organization or a person, but you're projecting all of that emotion on somebody else. And then they're like, this isn't about you. It's like, you've been just saying you the whole time.
Yeah, and I'd like to touch on that if I can, because love me through my ugly.
Yeah,
that is much more worth than the words that it is. It sounds kind of cliche. It sounds kind of clicky. No, it's true. Sometimes you can get ugly, and sometimes there are very low times in people's lives. Sometimes people give up, and that's not appreciated. You gotta keep going. The ugly isn't going to stay. Just love them through the ugly. Secondly, what I always tell my clients is when they're having these, intersections with their husbands or wives, I say, take two words out of your vernacular when you're talking. The word you, don't start a sentence with you, and don't start a sentence with the word but. If you do those two things, you are going to change the complexity of your conversation.
Exactly.
So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I mean, and just for the A, quite often with the tough it out mindset, we shove everything down. We just move to the next. We were very much brought up in that state where you just keep on moving. You don't show emotion because it's a weakness. And I even coached somebody on Saturday, and, you know, he was African descent. And he's like, Kinsey, crying is a weakness. And I go, I understand that. I'm not saying you have to cry in front of everybody. We have cultural norms or what other people is. But I really hammered to the point of, what are your values? Not your cultural values, not what your family traditions or values are. What do you want? You know, and because that will help you with your boundaries in your conversation, and it will kind of just shed weight, because you know who you are. You're not externally validating who you are by other people's beliefs, because by definition, that's just being a victim to your life.
That's right.
You know.
Yep, that is right. Yeah, and we've talked about the whole being a victim to your life and not giving yourself a chance, not giving yourself opportunities. And also, if you're going to give yourself opportunities, you also have to give yourself opportunities to fail, because you are going to fail. We've talked about the failure thing. We are going to fail.
Fail forward,
my friend. The next day.
Fail forward. Celebrate it.
Fail forward, baby. Fail forward. And you could try again the next day. If it melts you down that bad, it's okay.
Yep. I mean, failure is learning. I'm not saying go out and fail, just purposely do that. But if you're doing what you feel is your heart's desire and you fail, it's a data point. It's a, you know, you can, you kind of have to know, like the GPS, like you have to know where you're going and where you're at. So each failure is kind of a data point, and it's a lesson. And over time, you can see the patterns. You can see what is happening, you know, in your life. For me, you know, when I was growing up, I was told quite often, you're too much, sit there and be pretty, meaning being spoke to when spoken, you know, speak when you're being spoken to.
That's funny. I was told the same thing.
Yeah. And I thought it was a very much a feminine thing, you know.
Bobby, you just sit there and be pretty. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I'm not trying to take the piss out of that at all, because it is true. And we were on you're younger than I am, but we were on the back end of that trend, but it was still there.
Very much.
You know, like children should be seen and not heard. And if you're a girl, just sit there and be pretty.
Yep.
Like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I valued my worth with if people complimented me, or if I was the life of the party, or, you know, I externally validated my worth, which is not a productive way to live, because you feel like you're always performing to validate who you are, and you leave yourself in the back seat. So with this, with the accept, and I kind of like contrasted between like accept and acknowledge, meaning accept is you see it, but it's not just seeing it. You have to couple that of acknowledging your part. You know, quite often when people accept something, they think it's a failure, that I didn't do anything wrong. Well, it takes two to tango, my friends. With one sentence, one word differently, the whole conversation, the whole drama could be something different. You know,
yes.
Yeah. Because when somebody comes at me and they're just like, you did everything wrong, da, 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 and they didn't really accept their part in it, you know, because I got activated by what they did. You know, it's like, can you acknowledge that your tone is not working in this conversation? You know?
I think I said that to my ex-wife a few times. It didn't go over very well, but I tried. You know what I did? I failed forward.
Yes.
Yep, failed forward.
Way to put that in there.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So what are your thoughts on like that acronym? Like just to contrast it from...
We never got to the E.
No, it was evolved to mindfulness. I did.
Oh, evolved to mindfulness. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I shouldn't have started the sentence with you. See, I failed right there. Failing forward. You never got to the E. This is your fault. What was the E?
Evolve.
Evolve.
Yes.
So accept, forgive, evolve.
No, it's age. You know how to spell age.
You said there was many. There was multiple A's in there. I heard one of them was accept. One of them was
accept, acknowledge, and ask for help.
And then what is G? Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Thank you. I could spell.
I know.
I went to college for 8 years. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. What do I think of that acronym? Well, once I figure it out, I'll tell you that it's fantastic. These are the things that we can do in our daily lives to, have affirmations is the word I was looking for. Another A word.
I know.
And
there's
this show
a lot
is sponsored
of
by the letter A and the number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Sesame Street over here.
I know. There's just so much. There's so much gravity to this. It is super powerful, and I know that I say that it's super powerful because these are concepts that I took to heart when I was, growing and healing. And it's super powerful when you accept where you're at, you acknowledge where you're at, where your pitfalls are, and then finding support groups, coaching, counseling, because we don't often see our blind spots, and allowing that space, that vast space just to be and grow is a beautiful thing. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I hate to say that it's magical. Like I almost said magically delicious, but but it's just fun. Once you get used to accepting and acknowledging and asking for help, it gives you, you reclaim your power in yourself.
Yeah, you do. And when you are able to take the time to say these things to yourselves in the morning and work through them throughout the day, and then you're going to have events that are going to happen that are going to be out of your control. They're going to be completely out of your control. And you need to reassess and accept things that are going on and be grateful for what you have. So it's a mindset. That's why we do this. We try and change your mindset. I didn't always have this mindset. I'm sure you didn't either.
No.
You've told me how much your mindset has changed throughout the times of, divorced and single and the accident and carry the 4, and I went through divorces and school and life and death. And I went, wow, I really need to change how I think. I need to be much more grateful for what I have. And being grateful is, as you said at the start of this show, superpower. And it is. I mean, you didn't say that was, but yeah, being grateful is a superpower. It just takes the weight off of so many things.
It does. I mean, you can be grateful when you first wake up. Oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm alive, that I can breathe, that I get a second chance. When you're drinking your coffee, I'm so grateful that the people that, produce grew this beans and produced it and put, the people that talked it. I mean, there's so many things to be grateful for that we take for granted.
Yes, we do. And I'm going to tell you, I have a thing that I do in the morning when I wake up and I get out of bed and I'm moaning and groaning. I say to myself, I will be thankful in 1 minute. I get this 1 minute of like moaning and groaning as I'm making my way to the kitchen and making myself some coffee. And then I get some coffee. I'm like, okay, there it is. And I can feel it wash over me. Like, yes, I'm so lucky to be indoors right now, not freezing and having this cup of coffee. Result, I'm grateful every time I go to bed. The last things that come out of my mouth are thank you when I lay down.
Yep.
so lucky to just be laying on a bed and on a pillow. Yes, I worked for it, I know, but still, I'm just very fortunate to have that.
Yeah. It's, crap happens to all of us, and, it just happens. But with the special sauce is when you can look at it as a lesson. Like, okay, you can see what happened, you accept it, and then you acknowledge your part in it. This isn't the what if, like, what if I did this? What if I did this? That's not what we're talking about here. That is just a freaking rabbit hole. I almost said bunny hole.
That would have been another Kinsey. I gotta get these. I'm gonna go through all of these. I'm gonna get the Kinseys in down. Oh gosh. Okay.
Don't get down the bunny hole.
Don't down the bunny hole. The what hole? What'd you call me? Are you serious right now?
I mean, just simply like just doing a self-inventory of like, why am I feeling this way? Okay. Why does this happen? Or why, just asking yourself however it transpires. But the trick, the cherry on top of like that 7-layer cake, I call it a 7-layer cake because I do the 7 layers of why. The cherry on top is, how can I do this better? How can I grow? How will this shape me for the future? That is where the hope comes in. That, when you just look at why, the energy is different, but when you ask yourself, how can I do this? I mean, just case in point with the meme that I put up last week with the whole thing. Yeah. If you ever wonder why Gen X is the way it is, remember that teachers hyped up a rocket launch and astronauts that then exploded in front of us. No counseling, no hugs, no reassurances. They just assigned more homework. And I added, our parents didn't even talk about it. And I don't know the author of this. I found this online. So whoever, I'm giving credit to whoever posted this. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, well, they did a nice job. And I know that if there's a 27-year-old watching this, they're going, no, nobody's like that. We are here to tell you that is exactly what happened. Yeah. And that is part of the reason why Gen X people are the way they are. Because of behavior like that. And you said something earlier, and I had to go look it up because I wanted to make sure that I said it correctly. But there's a reason that recovery is so powerful, because step 4 is make a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. Yeah. And you were saying take an inventory of yourself. Yeah. It needs to be honestly a bit fearless as well. You need to delve into places that you don't really feel comfortable with, but you'll be better later when you do that. Honest.
No judgment. Reserve judgment.
Yes, reserve judgment.
Like if you were an asshole, call yourself out. Like I was an asshole. Like
everybody just heard that, right? That she just called me an asshole. No. God, I can hear those words. I might be Gen X, but I have feelings too. Yes, you're right. If you are an asshole, call yourself out and do it correctly. Like for instance, I'm a little bit overweight. Okay, I'm not obese. But I'm not, where the, what is that stupid chart? The BMI. I'm not where the BMI would like me to be. Okay. So, I'm not calling myself Fatty McFatterton. I'm just saying that I might need to lose a little bit of weight. It's an inventory of myself. That's something that I need to do. Now, lost weight, which I'm happy about. I have, but I'm just going to keep that movement going.
Another way is to kind of like remove yourself from it and look at it objectively. Like a lot of times I will say like tech really historically has not been my friend. So I will say historically tech is not my friend, but my intention is to grow each and every day and take fear steps forward. So it's setting like, use the word historically, because when you say I am, it has weight. You're calling that into your present, so really doing that delineation from historically, but now you're making a decision to set intention for your future is powerful. It keeps you present in the moment, that in a growth type of mindset. And that's kind of our goal here, is to help people grow. And, you know, all of our, you know, years of being in this and all of our certificates, degrees, whatever, at the end of the day, we just want to help another human being. That's why we do this. Because there's a great need in this, for this.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. That's the reason that we do this. And I was just talking to my buddy the other day, who's also an LPC, and we were talking about the joy that we get from doing this job and what we get out of it. And it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like being a teacher's, you know, like the TA or something. You know, you get to look at the homework before you have to take the test or whatever. You can assess yourself as you're doing things, and it helps you grow. You know, I said that to a buddy of mine once, and he said, well, then you shouldn't have been an accountant. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? I'd be really rich right now. So I cared about money, but I do care about my mental health a lot, because there have been times in my world, and I'm sure somebody watching right now can completely agree with this, not good, very unhealthy, very destructive. And sometimes I'm just so thankful that I had the people in my life that helped me get to the other side. And that's, again, being able to take an inventory and being grateful. Yeah. There's that age thing again. I'm grateful that I had those people.
Yeah. I mean, there's
tied it in.
I know. There's no coincidence that when people age, they find joy in the small things. And, you know, there is something special with that. Quite often when we're younger, we take a lot of those small things for granted.
Oh, certainly.
And we think it's always going to be there. I mean, I think case in point, you know, 2020 was a huge eye-opening experience for a lot of people that really honed in not healthy coping mechanisms, and they went off the rails with like anxiety, depression, suicide. I don't know the exact stats, but they were much, much higher after 2020. So this tough guy type of attitude, you know, tough it out. When I say guy, it's not directed at guys. I'm talking about all people.
The ambiguous tough guy.
Yeah. It really just is devoid of regulating your mind. It's devoid of regulating your emotions. It's devoid of regulating your energy. It's devoid of regulating your body. So this is just a pure invitation to age gracefully. Did you like how I did that? Age gracefully.
Oh, age gracefully. I was stuck on pure invitation. I'm like, I don't know what a pure invitation is, but I want one of those. That sounds awesome.
I know. So
did you get an invitation? No. I got a pure invitation. I'm beyond VIP. Okay.
It's just pure.
It's
everything's better when it's pure. It's pure. No, I'm joking. So, I mean, I kind of like, there's this like 5-finger thing that I do with people too. And I know that sounds horrible at first, but you always have your hand with you, right? So
I've been carrying them with me for a long time.
Right. So your pinky, it's an event happen, right? Your ring finger, it's your judgment. So what did you make it mean? What is the story? You know, this is the point of control. Like, you know, your judgment. This is
going to have to be an acronym because I'm lost already. Okay, keep going.
Oh, so something happened. Judgment, thought, emotion, and your action.
So this is like beyond CBT. This is like CBT to the third power.
Yeah. So you always
Yeah.
have your hand, and I'm very kinesthetic. So I'm like, okay, something happened. What's my judgments on it? What are my thoughts on it? What are my emotions on it? And what am I going to do about it? And it automatically gives you like a 5-second pause before you react. So for me, I always have this with me. I don't have to have it on a piece of paper.
That's very good. And I'm gonna practice that because you've been through this. There's the simple drop down in CBT called thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah.
And I tell people that this 7 is like a slide. The person cuts you off in traffic and you have a thought, and then you immediately have a feeling about them cutting you off in traffic. And then you have an action that usually resembles one of these fingers going up into the air. Okay.
Yeah.
And I say, no, have the roads be jagged in between those two places.
Right.
And then have this one be like a loop-de-loop as you're sliding down to here to actually think about what you're going to have as an action. So I like what you're doing with the, let me see, what I want to do here. And it gives you that pause for thought. Because you and I know, after dealing with people for so long in these types of situations, 10 seconds makes a world of difference.
It does.
A world of difference. You know how you get that email and you want to respond, but you're like, I'm going to wait 30 minutes. You can't even believe what you were thinking 28 minutes ago. You're like, wow, there was a lot of cuss words in there.
Exactly.
But now you're like, oh.
I need to meditate on it. And I need to
meditate on it.
Yeah. I need to sleep on it. I need to meditate on it because usually I have this angst inside of me that I just need to manage. And that's okay. We're not telling you to be devoid of emotions, to be devoid of judgments. It's regulating that. And we're giving you tools that you can work. You can use your hand. I mean, it's simple. You can use the jagged 7. You can think of, there's another way that I tell people, I say E plus R equals O, meaning event plus reaction equals outcome, because your reaction is the key point. It determines the outcome.
I think I listened to them in the 80s.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe I did.
So I like
that, by the way.
Thank you. I can't take credit for that. I learned that in my coaching.
Okay. Well, whoever, I like that.
Yeah, that was from like Lisa Nichols. So that's her thing, but I use it all the time. I have permission to use it. So
okay, good. By the way, that's promoting her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. We don't want to get run down by the Lisa Nichols train. No, not at all.
No,
did you say my name on your podcast? Did I give you permission?
I'm certified by her. I'm good.
Yes. Result. Well, I didn't say her name at all.
So
I've heard nothing but good things about her, by the way.
She's awesome.
I mean, I'm hoping to meet her someday. I know a lot of people that have gone through her courses, and I know it's off topic, but she's I've heard a lot of great things, so I'm hoping someday I might get the chance to meet her.
Yep. I've met her. I've spoke on her stage. She's been a big part of my journey, and I'm super grateful for that. I was going through a lot after my accident, and her speech about you are your own rescue. She was my rescue. I don't think I would be here if I didn't hear that, because it was after a surgery that got aborted, and I didn't know if I could do 10 more surgeries after that. I didn't know if I could do life. And, in those dark places, you ask God, you ask universe for a sign, and that was my sign. And I'm still alive because of that. And I'm grateful for that. We're not absent of, all of these emotions and all of these circumstances and feeling hopeless. That is why we're in this work. And why we get so excited each and every week. So this is an invitation just to, to honor and celebrate yourself and to grow, because we all start out from a thought, an action. Everything starts from a seed, and it's our self-responsibility to water it and nurture it so that it can grow. So,
Yep.
so
It
this
truly
is
is.
just an invitation to grow, to
Yep.
nurture your seed, my friends.
Yes. Nurture your seed.
Yes.
I wanted to touch on doing. There were some people that wrote some questions in. We are gonna get to those. I'm looking forward to getting to those. And I wanted to remind people that we do love it when people, make comments. We love the comments because they give us part of what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you appreciated and
what you need. Yeah.
And what you need, just like in excess.
Yeah.
What you need. So thank you. Another 80s reference today. Hey,
I know.
we're Gen X.
Just know that we love and appreciate you, and we were very grateful for for the likes, for the comments, for the shares, for everything, because it will help this grow. And it takes a village, my friends, especially in these times where there's a lot of division and polarization. Just being in a community, being in with people that want to grow, that's the first step, because quite often we try to grow in fertilizer that's not good for us. You know what I mean? We plant our seed where it's not welcome. Sometimes growing, it can be, a lot of my growth, I love my parents, but it wasn't the right fertilizer for my growth at that time. Right. So I was very cognizant of what I talked to my parents, because when you're going through growth and you're all excited and you're just like, you want to talk about it, but you talk to your family about it and they have, beliefs, and they have drivers, they have judgments, and they have wounds and traumas they haven't dealt with. So they're going to project that onto you. And that's okay. Everybody's on their own journey, but just having that little, barometer of where you're at, a lot of stuff I didn't talk to my family about because I knew they wouldn't accept it,
Okay.
And that's okay. There were certain friends I didn't talk about certain things to, because I needed to triangulate it in my brain first and grow myself, because quite often we externally validate our growth.
Yes. I mean, I've done that a lot less now. A lot less. But gosh, when I was young, oh man, so much.
Yeah. Give an example for the viewers
of
externally validating your growth.
Well, it was it had to do with like either things that I would buy or have or obtain, or new friends that I would make, and I would boast about that, and that would be me seeming to grow, but I'm not. I'm only just moving to the side, and I'm not growing at all. My growth comes from within. You do have external areas and things, but most of it, like the super high percentage of it, comes from within. And fortunately, you and I have good people around us. That is not necessarily external, that's coming this way. So I'm still going to call that internal growth, because you're gathering that information rather than projecting something that's not you or being boastful.
Well, you're filtering it, where before you're just accepting it as gospel, what everybody else says. Like when I wanted to change a job position, I would always ask everybody, what do you think about this? That's externally validating, like, what you want to do, or if a new project, or you want to buy a new house. Because when we allow ourselves to externally validate, we really invite our subconscious negative playlist to really, because its sole purpose is to, is to keep us safe. Our ego and our subconscious is just to keep us safe. And that's based on our past. It's only going by our past. So if you're like trying to do something new,
Mm-hmm.
It's going to just pull files. Your brain is just going to pull files from your past.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. And
because it's what you know.
Yeah. It's this whole I hear this a lot with we've talked about this. So this is who I am.
I'm not exaggerating. I had a client last week that said that to me.
Yep.
And, you know, I had to do the cliche comeback, you know, because she volleyed that ball right into my court very quickly. So I had to run over and get it real quick and go, and how's that working for you?
Yep.
You know, you have to put it back there so they can think about it.
We keep talking about it because it happens all the time.
We say these things, people, because it's real life. This is the stuff that we hear.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I just wanted to say that we love the things that you write in there, and we're going to take the time to go over some of those and put them out and ask or answer questions and stuff. So that's,
for sure. Yeah, we honestly, we've had a lot of stuff going on, and especially with our schedules. So we wanted to give proper time to do it, and not just wing it. We want to actually do it properly. But yes, as you know, we've both been having scheduling issues, and I have hit quite a crescendo, you know, in my practice right now. It's busier than it's ever been. I'll just thank you for that. I don't know, it just sounds good. But yeah, it's really, really super busy. But as you know, also being in the profession that you are, when the holidays come around, all of a sudden things start to wane a little bit. So I'm busy right now, but talk to me 3 weeks from now, I might be like, I'm down 35%, you know. So, but then I'll have time. I'll have more time than what I want, but I'll have time. So correct. So, you know, we just kind of want to end on the fact that we appreciate you, and we want you to, you know, kind of shine the light on the tough it out mindset in this episode, that it really is not allowing yourself to grow. It very much is keeping you very hidden, your potential, your talents, your your resources, whether it be people, your finances, because you're just doing the status quo. And we're inviting you to, you know, be true to yourself, because we all, you know, deserve to live the best life. And it takes work. I mean, you've been doing stuff probably for 40, 50 years. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, when I first started doing gratitude, I'm not going to say what I said. I mean, I said about every cuss word, this is stupid, da 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 da, you know. And I can't believe effing people do this, and I'm just magically going to think of rainbows and stuff coming up my butt, you know, that it's going to change. And you know, I went through that, but the thing is like, irritation is an invitation to grow. So when you get irritated, celebrate that. Like when I get irritated, I'm like, yes, I'm on something.
I was irritated because I was on something. Yeah. No, I love that you say that, and I remember it, and I actually put it up on my whiteboard. That irritation is an invitation to grow. And I had my daughter read it, and she goes, I don't get it. And I go, good, we'll talk about it next week.
Yep.
Because she's only 15, right? Gotta let it soak in a little bit there. Let it soak in, penetrating oil. Let it soak in. All right.
Well, you guys have a blessed night, and we hope you like this and you got value. And each and every week, we are sending positive vibes and energy. This is me, because I don't think Bobby speaks like this.
Y'all just shut up and go to work, okay? Tough it out.
No, that's a tough it out.
Not true. Not true. Take the time to do an inventory. I don't even care if it's a soft inventory, okay? Just take the time to do an inventory and you'll find one thing that you might want to change and you'll find yourself changing it and go, yes, I can do this. Because you can do this. I don't want to sound like a counselor when I say stuff like that, but you really can. I have watched people that have quite literally come out of a gutter and become upstanding members of society after being bankrupt and having massive drug problems and having no relatives that would talk to them. And they made all of those changes. I think you can make one.
Yep. You have the power inside yourself, my friends. So on that note, you guys all have a blessed evening, and we will see you next week. And make sure to put all your questions, even if it's from episodes previously. We want to honor and celebrate you for saying yes to yourself. So, all right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Bye, guys.